Oh my god! It's George! John! Oh, lady, can you get your hat out of the way? I'm trying to make a video here. Anyway, as you can see, it's the Beatles. What you're looking at is footage of the band conquering America. It was kind of a big deal. Ask your parents. In a time before the internet, the Beatles led the British invasion, which brought with it a number of similar acts. These four boys changed music forever. 3 decades later, Next Generation magazine spawned a brand new kind of British invasion. Okay, maybe that's a bit dramatic, but in my opinion, this is not only the greatest video game magazine of all time, but also an important turning point for game journalism. Next Generation is the Beatles of video game magazines. Launched in 1995 to coincide with the new era of 32-bit game systems, it was immediately clear that Next Generation was a little different. For one thing, it focused more on the industry than the individual games. Sure, it had the usual reviews and preview section, but most of the pages were filled with developer interviews and lengthy articles that addressed all sides of the games business. This monthly publication was also more confrontational than other magazines. This is largely because Next Generation was the American spin-off of Edge, a popular UK magazine with a reputation for harsh reviews. The editors of Next Generation brought that aggressive British sensibility to the States, leading to some of the best interviews you'll ever read. It's important to remember that at this time, very few magazines published interviews with the heads of Sega, Nintendo, and the various other third parties. And if they did snag a conversation with Howard Lincoln or Tom Kalinske, the questions were usually softballs. Magazines like GamePro and Electronic Gaming Monthly didn't think their readers would be interested in hardball interviews, so they focused more on the colorful previews that fed the hype machine. Next Generation was different. Each issue featured several interviews, both big and small. They spent a lot of time talking to the lesser-known game makers, getting the developers' take on the industry. They would also interview the bigger players, including the heads of every important publisher you can think of. They somehow were able to get Atari head Sam Tramiel to threaten to sue Sony, and Sega's Tom Kalinske said, with a straight face, that the 32X will outsell the PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and even the Saturn. Although influential, Next Generation was never as popular as Electronic Gaming Monthly and GamePro. In 1999, the publisher shook things up with a brand new design. The name was simplified to Next Gen, and it started to veer from its original goal. More of the magazine ended up being devoted to individual games, with reductions in news and industry write-ups. Worst of all, the magazine dabbled in cheat codes, something it vowed to never print in years past. This was the beginning of the end. Through redesigns and a change to a larger format, Next Generation lost a lot of the original charm. But it didn't matter, because the magazine had already changed the game. You started to see more developer interviews pop up in popular magazines, and industry news started to get covered. And with the invent of the internet, blogs and websites have carried on the tradition of critiquing every move Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft make. To many people, video games are about more than the individual titles and hype. They're about the people that create them, and the business that makes it all possible. And like the Beatles, Next Generation will live forever inside every one of us. This brings us to the end of our month-long magazine retrospective. We've covered a lot of ground and had some fun along the way. I recommend starting the whole thing over from the start and writing capsule reviews for each episode. Or maybe move on to one of our other shows, like the reenactments of Next Generation interviews. Those are really great and they tie into this episode. As always, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and visit defunktgames.com.